Test 2, 3, 4. Woo!
My coffee mug is bigger on the inside.
This was my happy Christmas gift, so
Oh,
that
nice.
I can paint even in Buffalo winters.
There you go. That works good. That's what this sucker's for.
Wow.
Crazy bright.
Yeah, unmute.
Works good. That's what this sucker's for.
Wow. Alright, we are live, so let's pull you back up. And welcome to Threats from Gallifrey. We are with Savage Tim, and there is a whole lot of things going on. Those watching the video can see Savage Tim trying to create the Doctor Who theme with his coffee mug.
Yes. Now filled with some delightful tea because that's the way I roll.
This is something we didn't talk about, but I saw it on the Savage World's Facebook forum. Could you do Doctor Who with the Savage World system, or would it not feel right?
I think it'd be tricky to do. The big problem you have is that the power disparity between different characters, it would be kind of tough to sort of handle. Basically, Doctor Who would be, a Doctor or a Time Lord themselves would be something of a legendary character, and everybody else would be novices and have no idea what was really going on. I think you could do it if you played the Time Lord as being an NPC who maybe shows up or like shows up in the background of things and warns people about stuff, but then doesn't stick around to actually help because he has other fish to fry. I think that's sort of the way you do it. Is it treated as a mentor or um
Or unit?
yeah, or like a unit style. A unit style game would actually work fairly well too. We're all members of a unit, troubleshooting a squad who's supposed to go out and deal with alien menaces, in various different ways. Um, that being said, I think the Doctor Who role playing game itself actually handles that really really well.
Yeah.
Um, so that's another situation of, hey, there's a game out there that does exactly what you wanted to do. Just use that.
Use the Doctor Who role playing game and listen to Time Lord Tanya, as she'll tell you all about it.
Exactly.
So, what do we have going on as far as Savage News, man?
Well, we're in that little quiet time of the year. It's a, post holiday season. Everybody's still kind of recovering, so there's not a whole lot in the way of new news that's coming out. We have a couple things coming up in the Western New York area in the next couple of weeks. In just a little under 2 weeks, we're going to have Running Gag down at the SUNY Geneseo in Geneseo, New York. It's always a really good time to go to that. There's always a lot of great gaming going on. Some really terrific people run that show. I always recommend people, if you're in the Western New York area and you're looking for a great convention, Running Gag is definitely the one I would go to. It's a really nice environment. I like it a lot. There's going to be a lot of Savage Worlds games on the schedule too. A bunch of Cthulhu games, a bunch of really cool stuff's going on that weekend. So definitely go check it out. But if you can't make it down to Geneseo that weekend, we're going to be doing our monthly Savage Worlds Savage Sunday event, also at Dragon Snack Games. Um, Again, as we do every month on the last Sunday of the month, this month's theme is going to be some new blood. So we're looking for new GMs. We're looking for people who haven't run a game for us before, or played a game in public, or run a setting that they've never run before, something that's different and new and that they haven't tried. I'm still kind of up in the air what I'm going to do. I think I might try some Last Parsec, which, strangely enough, we haven't had a ton of. I don't think it.
I did it once, and
Mhm.
I saw it. Somebody else did it once, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
not
think
a whole lot.
exactly. So I'm trying to think about something I haven't tried before, something I can kind of pull off the shelf a little bit and see what happens with it. I know you're planning on doing a Deadlands game.
Which I haven't really done as a strict Deadlands very as in a real capacity before. So besides the one shot that we did for the epic that we did at
Right,
Queen City.
right. Yeah, so that was definitely something I'm kind of looking forward to seeing because I like the write up you put up for it. So
That was one of those where I was trying to roll up a random plot point and use the Solomon Kane plot point generator and
well,
came up with that's kind of what I came up with off of that.
nice. It definitely is one that sounds kind of fun to play. I think if my game doesn't go, I want to play in yours because
Yay!
I don't get to play nearly enough Deadlands.
Always running the Deadlands.
I'm always running the Deadlands. I'm not likely playing the Deadlands.
And one of our Western New Yorker friends to our Savage Sundays has got a Kickstarter up, right?
Yeah, the our friends from Obatron Productions, that is Vicky and Bob Beaver, who are based out of Rochester. They actually just started up yesterday. They've done a few of these in the past for some of their other products, but this is kind of a new one for them. It's called Retribution. It's a new setting for Savage Worlds. And one of the things that's interesting about it is that it is a fantasy world that has strong ties into the afterlife. And it's the first setting I can think of for Savage Worlds where you can play the dead, not the undead, but spirits and ghosts and things that have formerly died. So there is a possibility that you can play a character that's has been died and shuffled off their mortal coil. Um, so it's still very early in the days. Right now, they're almost funded. Actually, they're about $125 away from their goal of 1,000. They got 31 days to go, so I don't think there's going to be any problem with hitting that goal. I definitely
No.
think they're going to hit it. But if you are planning on coming out to our Savage Sunday events, they have been running preview stuff for the Retribution setting, so you can come down, show up a little early, check out what they've got to offer, and then going back to the project, which I think would be an awesome thing to do. I know I'm going to sign up definitely to pick up a couple books from them.
Very cool. And what others is going on with Savage Worlds news?
The other thing that's neat this month too is that if you've been paying attention, the Rifts Kickstarter rewards, the physical books, are making their way out to the backers. So
Oh,
if a lot of people have been posting about on Facebook, showing that they've received all their cool books and stuff and their neat slipcases and all that fun, cool toy things that they're been waiting for, which means that if you missed it in the Kickstarter, as soon as all those shipments go out, the stores will start being able to carry the product. So that means that your favorite local game store will be able to have those books for you. So if you're like a lot of people and you don't like reading stuff from PDFs, you just want the hard copies, keep an eye out for it. It should be showing up in your local stores very, very soon.
did you get yours yet?
Not yet, because I, like so many other people, plan on buying them from my favorite local game store, which is Dragon Snap Games.
Yay!
Um, so once he gets those in stock, I'll probably pick up. I'm going to definitely pick up copies.
Very
There's no
cool.
question about it.
Yeah. And which leads us to you had an interesting story about the last Savage Sunday,
Yeah, it was.
or a challenge that was
You,
put upon you.
yeah, you were missed. It was kind of a funny anecdote, but after I thought about it for a little bit, it kind of maybe gave me an idea for a topic, or at least something to talk about. Is that while we were in the middle of playing, one of the other tables was running a game where the players were all playing animated toys of different types and different styles. And I don't really know how it happened, but suddenly somebody called to me across the room and said, "Hey Tim, how would you stat Pikachu?" And I thought about it for about 5 seconds and realized that Pikachu is nothing other than a small monster with the damage field power and electrical trapping. That's it. That's all there is to it. Is that it's really kind of strange. And the thing that occurred to me was that it, there's a couple of different ways you could handle that same sort of creature in a Savage World setting. One is obviously you could just make it a creature and give it a specific power. The trappings that are available for different powers are broad enough that you can pretty much make up whatever you like and tie it to a creature. The other way to take it to, and actually this is something I considered while I was thinking about this earlier today, was you could effectively do a Pokemon style game where the Pokemon aren't actual creatures, but they're the trappings for your power.
That's very cool.
So instead of having a bolt power that you shoot bolts of Eldritch Energy, you open up a little container, and out comes a creature that attacks whatever you're going after, or attacks whatever you're attacking. The trick is though is that it can only attack other people who also have that same power.
Hmm.
So I'm like, there's something there. There might be an idea there for something. I'm not quite sure exactly what that's going to be, but I think there's something to look at that.
And how PowerPoints fit into all of that too.
Hmm I would think you would do something like use the superpower rules, where instead of doing PowerPoints, it's just that's your attack ability, and you get a certain pool of points to use on those individual powers for each character. So it'd be a different way, kind of a different way of doing supers.
Yeah. So have you created super villains on the fly for like necessary evil and things like that?
Yeah, on occasion. It's with necessary evil. It's a little bit tougher just because of the power scale that you're dealing with. But a lot of times it's really simple to come up with a creature or a monster that needs just a little something extra, because the and skill sets are easy to kind of modify that way. It's not that hard to just make up something on the fly and just treat it as something else. I've had to do that a lot with a lot of conversion stuff, converting from other sources, especially dealing with Cthulhu and a few other sources where there really isn't any, or at the time, there wasn't any good source for that information.
Mm. So how would one of my favorite things in all settings is the classic alien from the Sigourney Weaver movies. What
Hmm.
would you do with that?
Alien again is another one that has a really simple ability where it's a very agile creature. So you're looking at probably D8 to D10 agility because it's very fast. Has an animal level intelligence, but is very bright as far as that goes. So you're looking at probably a D6 to a D8 intelligence, or smarts, I should say. Um, Spirit is probably average, a little low. They're not terribly strong. They get around their abilities mostly by being fast and sneaky. So they wouldn't be very strong. So you could probably get away with them just a D6 strength. Um, and Vigor also would be fairly low because they don't take a lot of damage. Once you attack one, they kind of explode on sight. The thing is, do you want to? And for them, you'd have to make up their own power, their own monstrous power, which would be something like, exploding. Whenever this creature takes more than a wound, takes a wound and damage, it explodes and does 3d6 acid damage and a small burst template around it. So,
How about the aspect that I never thought of until I was reading the role playing game from way back when, that they have like a scorpion tail with that injects a poison that puts the people into a coma, which is why all the Marines were kind of still had a pulse, and were easily dragged off to the nest.
you could do something like, well, the thing the tail strike itself would just be a regular attack. It would probably be another special ability attack where it would be treated as a kind of poison, where it would do like fatigue damage. And if you instead of doing wound damage, you would do fatigue. And if you run out of fatigue levels, then you're incapacitated. Incapacitated, or you would be unconscious, and then they could move you where they wanted you to be, and you could wake up someplace else.
With
That would
some,
make really short work of a couple player characters, though. It'd be kind of scary.
that would be fun to do with an egg in front of you.
Eee. Uh, I don't like this story anymore. It makes me nervous.
So what's another fun creature that you came up with on the fly?
Um, on the fly, it's tricky. I see. I think I'm one of those people who tries to over prepare, so I never try to get caught too far out. Um, Without having something at least in mind of what's going to happen next. Um, so makes things a little trickier. But that might be an interesting challenge. Is to solicit our listeners to maybe send in some suggestions. If you have some ideas of monsters you'd like to see stat, you can't figure out a way to do it. Let us know. That's something we can maybe do in a future show.
That would be a great idea. Send it in to gmg at threat-detected.com or post it on the Facebook group, and we'll get it to Tim to see if he can stat your favorite creatures.
The kicker is we don't do it ahead of time. We'll do it live on air.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
The unveiling.
Exactly.
Cool. So, how's your gaming table been? Have you got? I know you've been sick, fighting off illness too, like me.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to do any gaming?
Yeah, there's been a nasty bout of illness kind of running around, and the holiday season's kind of gotten everybody down, a little bit stressed out. So, things have been kind of put on hold for a little while. It was kind of a stressful holiday season, really. But we are planning to get things rolling back up again very soon. Kind of hoping to get back into swing of doing some ETU, or perhaps maybe some Rifts if I can get some people to do it. I don't know. There's definitely something in line. I'm really looking forward
You're
to
breaking.
Savage.
You're breaking up, Tim.
Oh, am I breaking up? How do I sound? Still
Still,
breaking up.
still breaking up.
Ugh. Okay, you want here? Let's try that again. How's that sound?
Much better.
Okay, so yeah, so as I said, we were hoping to get back into ETU back again this month. Hopefully get that running. Maybe do something a little bit different. I haven't quite decided yet. We're going to see how things go. I'm really looking forward to going back into Deadlands because our Deadlands campaign for Savage Sunday is really coming to a head. There are big things afoot. I have big plans. Um, so hopefully everybody will die, but I'm going to try my best. But I'm really looking forward to that.
But not Kashawa.
Oh, she's the first one on my list. She's done. I've had enough of your shenanigans there, Crow.
I think I've been the most laid back of all the players.
Yeah, I know. That's being facetious.
So, what is on your list of besides riffs of games that you want to break out this year?
Um, that's a good question. That's a really good question. It has been my focus has been a lot of the rifts and the Deadland stuff. I know that they've got a few things planned this year that I'm keeping an eye out for. I'm kind of hoping things that we start hearing some more news about that soon. I'm hoping that we start seeing some more news about Flash Gordon,
Mm-hmm.
which should be coming out later this year with any luck. Um, there's going to be more stuff happening in the Deadlands line. I know that's a big concern. Um, there is a couple other settings that I'm sort of keeping an eye out for. There's one called Catacombus, which is based on an Italian. It's an Italian-based fantasy setting. A little more swashbuckly and sort of more weird magic than
Hmm.
anything else. I think it's available in PDF just now, but I'm waiting to see if it comes out in print. Um, there's a primer available for it that's just absolutely beautiful layout. I'm looking at it right now. It's actually gorgeous, old-fashioned style typeface. It looks like it's all woodcut carved. It's got a really nice graphical layout. Um, I'm really interested to see what they do with it. I think it's gonna be really kind of a bit different than what you normally would see. A little bit more of a Italian giallo style than a more Western European style game, a fantasy game.
Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. So that's one I've got an eye on right now. Um, Other than that, I'm not sure. I don't know. There's a lot of different stuff I want to do. We're talking about what we're going to do after Deadlands. I know that I've heard some rumblings. Some folks be interested in doing Lankmar. I think I might mix things up a little bit and see if I can get some other blood involved. But we'll see what happens.
That's cool.
I know that we have actually been one of the other regulars in the Savage Sunday is going to be starting a 50 Fathoms game at the Sunday event this month. Um, so he
Jen?
is. Hmm?
Is it Jen?
No, Ben.
Oh, Ben.
Ben Borderano.
Hmm.
He's starting a 50 Fathoms campaign in the night slot as well. So I know he was actively looking for players. So I'm not sure if he's full just yet, but it's 50 Fathoms. You can always use more bodies.
So if you guys are interested, show up for the night slot for Savage Sunday at Dragon Snack.
Yep. Sounds good.
And what other game? What twists can you say that you want to take with your East Texas University game? Are you wanting to mix it up? Are you planning on more of the same, or?
I plan on playing it pretty straight. None of the players are that familiar with the setting, and I think that there's enough surprises in there. I don't think we need to do too much unusual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say too much because one of my players is actually sitting directly behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe paying attention to what I have to say
Yeah.
just a little bit. Hi, dear. So I can't say too much about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So
My games hit the curves a little bit, where I lost 2 players to life events.
Oof.
Another player is fighting cancer and has
Oh
not been
no.
able to make it. Um, and so we're down to trying to recruit new players in for our East Texas University game too.
Oh,
And it
that
left
sucks.
off at an interesting place where they were in the Texas version of Area 51 trying to get away from the Men in Black and rescue one of their students who got hit by a spore gun
Ouch.
and was taken ET style into the Area 51 med area.
Oh, okay.
So it was a cliffhanger area to end, a weird area to add new characters, but I'm completely willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, that's something. What do you do at that point? I mean, I'm usually in the case of if it gets to that point where I've lost that many players, I'll put that campaign on hold.
Yeah, it's just that this one involved it was the Indiana Jones campaign beforehand, and before that it was the Star Wars one, so it's been running for a long time. So I really don't want to pull the plug quite yet, and giving it one last chance to try to recruit some new players in.
Okay, fair enough.
Cool. So what other adv- things that have you learned from the Savage Sundays?
Well, one of the things I've been doing is I've been doing a lot of tracking on what kind of games are being played. And it's kind of interesting to see the stuff that's been really popular. Um, Let me bring up the Sheet of Doom. Dun, dun, dun. I've done a lot of number crunching because in my day job I do a lot of data analysis type stuff, and so it's kind of second nature to me. Um, but the interesting thing is that for the we've gotten a really wide spread of a bunch of different games. Hardly anything dominates. It seems like there's been a lot of differentiation between the number of players, and what games have been most popular. So largely the stuff that seems to attract the most attention is well, the Deadlands Reloaded campaign doesn't really count. I kind of leave it out of my numbers because that's the same group of guys every month. But stuff that's based on the horror companion, this scary stuff in and of itself is very
Hmm.
popular, and Deadlands Reloaded by itself, even non-campaign play, also got a really good selection of players. Even though they were only run a couple of times, it seems that those were very popular. Um, so those are the ones I thought was kind of interesting. Also, the science fiction stuff, the stuff that's based on the science fiction companion, also did very well. So I know like your Ghostbusters game went really well. Mike Sprague ran a couple of different settings out of the Tales of Horror type stuff, and so those were all real popular. Um, but I am seeing a lot of the same GM names show up here in this list, Mr. Crow. Um, and that's one thing I want to change. That's something one of my goals for
Mm-hmm.
2017 is I want to see if we could figure out a way to get more people involved in running games. As we know, Savage Worlds is one of the easiest things to run. It's one of
It
the
is.
easiest to do. So how can we encourage more people to come out and play more games, to help run some more games? That's something I think we can work on.
I'd love to see that too. Love to step out of the GM seat and more into the player seat for that. That's one of the reasons I definitely jumped at signing up for the campaign for Deadlands.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I love running Savage Worlds, but I don't want it to be just the same guys every month. I want it to be somebody different.
So who will that be?
I don't know. I don't
Oof.
know. Maybe will it be you or someone
Or
else out there
you?
in YouTube land?
So we'll find out on the next episode of Threats from Gallifrey. Thank you, Tim, for joining us.
No problem, Garrett. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you. And